Hello, leader. Welcome back to Lead in 15 with me, Sue Naughton-Marsh, your leadership coach. I'm here to help you elevate your leadership skills in 15 minutes. Yes. Today is part 3 of how to have a coaching conversations in your one-to-ones with your team members. In parts 1 and 2, check them out if you haven't. There are links. I talk about the opening question for your coaching conversations, and then an important question once somebody tells you what's going on with them. So today we're going to get into what happens in the next bit of that conversational journey. So somebody has told you what's going on with them. You've asked them their important second question, which I talk about in part 2. And once they have told you everything that they want to tell you, before you start solutionizing, before you start telling them what to do, remember this is a coaching conversation, and once you start telling them what to do, you're using your own energy and you're solving problems for people, and you need to preserve your energy because you're going to have to do this with all your team members. So once they've downloaded, you're going to say, and what else? That's all you're going to say. And what else? Because there is nearly always something else. And you don't want to cut that conversation off. And you also want people to start digging deep with what's going on with them without you having to do too much work. So you're going to say, and what else? And you're going to do that 3 times. And I know that that might feel really, really weird to ask somebody something 3 times. And you might think, oh, they're going to think I'm weird if I do that. So if you feel a little bit cautious about doing it, just do it once to start with. So they've said what they want to say, what's going on with them, about a project, about a person, about a situation they're dealing with, and just say, and what else? If you're feeling brave, say it up to 3 times, but don't say it any more than that because it will start to feel a bit weird. And when you feel that maybe they've come to the end, but just so that you don't cut it off, you're going to say, and is there anything else? Because you think that they've said everything they want to say, but you're inviting them just to confirm that with you. What else? Up to 3 times. What else? What else? What else? And then, is there anything else? And I promise you, this is going to transform your conversations, your one-to-ones. And especially, I mentioned this in part 1, if you have one-to-ones where they're starting to feel a bit stale, a little bit robotic, a bit ritualistic and routine, and you're dealing with that person quite often anyway, and they come to the session and you sort of think, well, I haven't really got anything new to say. This will open up the discussion and it will transform the energy. And please don't worry if it feels a bit weird to start with, or if the person you're doing the one-to-one with thinks, what's going on here? This is new. This is a bit strange. Just sit with it. Be brave and sit with it. I promise you, it will transform your conversations. So remember, and what else? And what else? And what else? Is there anything else? And check out parts 1 and 2 for the other important questions to help this conversation along. So if this has been useful to you, like, share, subscribe, let people know. And I will see you in part 4 of this mini series of how to have coaching conversations in less than 15 minutes in your one-to-ones. Have a great day.